we've watched Thunder Tiger go through a lot of transformations over the years, from the initial days, or the early days, setting the trend with the Raptor series, and now continuing through its product evolution. In fact, this last year we've seen tremendous changes in the product line, new additions, a lot of refinements, which is kind of exciting. So we look at a broadening product line and them also focusing on still staying in that competition class bracket. So we've got Nick Maxwell with us today, who is representing the Thunder Tiger product line. He's going to talk about 4 different products today, some updates to some older products, and then also some new releases. So let's go ahead and get started with the E550. I think that's definitely talk-worthy.
Yeah. This is a new release. This model, actually, we had a flybarred version of it. And everyone wanted flybarless because it's the perfect size, because you use half of your 700 size batteries. And also the neat thing about this thing, it's actually an ARF, so it comes ready to fly, ready programmed. All you have to do is put your receiver or satellites if you're using Spectrum, and your motor battery and your transmitter, and out of the box it'll do 3D. It's got a metal rotor head and a lot of upgrade parts, so it's sturdy for 3D, things like that. And basically, it's just, a great practice model.
Now that's running the Ace RC gyro.
Yeah,
right?
the Ace GT5.2, so actually the latest version, yep.
And then friendly with all different radio systems.
Yep.
It's nothing proprietary about the interconnects or anything?
No, it's got, if you don't have an S-Bus receiver, you can run all the separate little wires.
Okay.
Or you can use Futaba S-Bus, or it's actually got ports on the side for Spectrum satellites.
Oh, all right.
So it handles all the different protocols and all the
That's
different...
good, practical. That thing's available now too, right? Shipping now?
Yep, shipping now.
$649.99, and you're just going to have to get your batteries and your receiver radio system.
And if you've got a 700, this is a great practice machine because it's just half the battery. So.
Yeah. That's extremely convenient.
Yep.
We've also got the Mini Titan 360 to talk about.
Yep. This is also kind of the same idea. With Thunder Tiger came out with a model that is out of the box 3D ready and programmed. So this comes with the Ace GT5 as well, with the Ace servos and the motor and speed control and everything. So all you need is your receiver and same programming, S-Bus, all that satellite stuff for the receiver-wise. And then just a 4S battery, so it's actually 4S capable too. So Thunder Tiger's really been trying to hit the market with ease and getting practice models out to supplement their high-end competition-grade models. So.
We've flown a lot of 300 class and a lot of 400 class over the years. You have, I'm sure, a range of them. When you get the 360 up in the air, would you put it as hardcore 3D, or would you put it as kind of more entry to mid-level 3D?
It really can be both. The hardcore 3D is good because it is swinging 360 millimeter blades. So it's got the collective pop and the cyclic authority of a larger model, but though it's still just as stable in the wind and stuff.
Gotcha.
So really it's kind of just how you set it up.
Really?
Since the flybarless unit is fully programmable, if you're just going to hover, tune it down. If you're going to do wild 3D, so you can actually change the tuning.
How's the tail for blowout stuff? Is it pretty good?
Oh yeah, the tail
from a sizing perspective.
Yeah, the tail holds real good.
Okay.
It's actually got upgraded tail blades. They're still plastic, but it's pretty interesting plastic. It's really hard, and it works quite well.
Okay.
The other thing is it's got a mini tail servo rather than a micro.
Oh yeah. I noticed that a lot beefier on the back end.
Yep. Yeah. So it's actually got a full 3D setup, so obviously for any sport flying it'll be fine too.
Absolutely.
It's tube drive as well, torque tube.
Torque tube, yeah.
So not belt. So.
Yep, excellent. And fully available, $449.99.
Yep.
It's shipping now, I guess is the question.
Yep.
And
all you need is just your receiver and
it's the 550 repeated. All you need is your battery and your radio system. So now we moved over, Nick, to the Raptor G4.1. A couple updates to the 90 size flybar. Let's go ahead and bring everybody up to speed with what you guys have done.
Well, basically it's the same design concept as the G4, but it's got a lot of the updates. So number one, it's got stronger bearing blocks. It's actually adopted the E820 bearing blocks.
Okay.
And it adopted a lot of the E820 head parts, so like the Zero Delta parts, the new posts here that are actually stronger. Some of the in-tip overs and stuff, you were bending that arm.
Yeah.
Well, you used to have a little auto tip
I can tell you about that. I can tell you about bending those arms, yeah.
So
yeah,
now
they go up like this pretty easily, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So now this fixes that. So now,
Okay.
they're going to withstand those little tip overs.
Yep.
The new bearing blocks are a lot stronger, so in a crash or something like that, the bearing blocks won't bend. The biggest thing that we've changed is the frame now accommodates a couple different motor gear ratios.
Okay.
The G4 was a 7:9:2 ratio, which works pretty good with the YS engine and the Thunder Tiger Redline. But the OS engines and the old YS 91 engines, they prefer a little bit higher gear ratio. So now the option is 8.21, and all you have to do is simply swap the main gear.
Oh, okay. That's an easy upgrade.
And there's a couple just nice little things like the tail grips now include nut holders, stuff like that. The new tail case pinches instead of clamps. I mean, there's just a lot of little things that just make it easier to work on, easier to fix.
Sounds like they just kind of touched it in all the main mechanics areas, front to back, and made little tweaks and little adjustments. Yeah.
Yep. The G4 had been out for, I think it was 2 or 3 years, so it was time to really just take everything that wewe've heard from everybody.
Yeah, it's probably about almost 3 years. Yeah.
Yep.
The G4's out, and the onset of the 820, of course, probably brought. We saw them do that before. We saw the new come out, and they pushed the innovations down a little bit further, and and backwards engineered some of their newer product back into the older. So, which is a good thing, right? Because then you can buy replacement parts that are fit in the same frame, and you can update your old machine a little bit.
Yep. And actually, these frames are interchangeable with the 820 as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yep.
Even better yet.
The good news is that still the model's lightweight, which is what all the benefits for, and all the rigid mechanics. So you're still keeping the good qualities of the original model too.
Good deal. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have the G4E 700, which they just made a few changes to that you want to call out as well.
Yeah, basically that model is the same. The differences that we've done
here. Look at that, shameless self-promotion.
Hey, I did not.
It's a Nick Maxwell Scorpion motor on it. You know, I should have brought one for you. We're kind of in the same club a little bit. Scorpion made a Kurt Gornick Signature Series motor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a keychain, and there's only one.
Oh, well,
and it's done in a Sharpie, but I'm telling you, man, we're in the same club, okay?
Perfect.
You may have sold a few more of those than I did, and yours actually work. But mine are cool to, just don't put them on your Chevy Cobalt, or it might turn the ignition off in there because of heavy motor,
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to get caught in that situation.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good.
So sorry, after that detraction, go ahead with the E700, but I had to point that out.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I didn't notice. Is it on?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Actually built, I put this in on a Blade 700. Put the Nick Maxwell on there. Everything ripped. Did a fantastic job. So.
Yeah, no, that thing works good.
I do have one of those actually. I wasn't just kidding about that. I have one of those on the bench. So yeah.
That's funny.
So go ahead, back to the G4E 700.
Well, basically, just over time in the 3D stuff, we just found a couple little things in the rotor head that'll make things last longer and work a little bit better. So we extended this arm out 5 millimeters and extended this arm out 5 millimeters. So the ratio is the exact same.
Okay.
But it gives it a little better mechanical leverage, so the links don't wear out as much. We also did 0 delta post, so that way, and it's stronger. So same thing, and a tip over.
Gotcha.
Yep. So nothing. I wouldn't go out and immediately change it. But the next crash you have or something, I would just go to those parts, and then that way.
Gotcha. And I have one last question for you on the overall Thunder Tiger line. We saw almost all the manufacturers playing DFC, and some of them back away from it then.
Yeah.
And it's pilot preference, it's torque on the servos, there's all this big long list of pros and cons on the DFC list. Thunder Tiger never really played with DFC at all.
Yeah, no.
They stayed with the interlinks. What's your take on that? Is that, are we going to see a continuation of DFC in some applications, or do you think it's going to stay kind of away from the full DFC? It was a test period that we just kind of...
I sure hope not.
Yeah, you sure hope we don't go with DFC at all going forward. Okay.
I'll make a very big statement, I guess. As long as I'm flying for Thunder Tiger and helping with the development, I don't think
going to suggest DFC.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see DFC on Thunder Tiger helicopters.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, some helicopters have been very successful with it, but from a mechanical standpoint, there's a lot of error in that system. So
there's a lot of stress transferred throughout with DFC.
A lot of stress, and there's a lot of things that you'll see in the flying aspect of it that'll make the model feel inconsistent. So with this, the biggest thing for me, at least, and I think a lot of pilots, is you want your helicopter to fly exactly the same every time you fly.
Yep.
And so in that case, with this, even though it's a couple extra parts, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and that's the key. With DFC, we did notice as your dampening began to soften slightly, you had this tremendous change in performance and character and handling characteristics.
Because all of a sudden your phasing is shifting every time the head teeters.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Shaft length, deflection rates, blade lengths, head speed, that phasing would get completely out of whack. So easy it seemed like with DFC.
Yeah.
So. Excellent. Now, there's one last thing. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it was neat. Yeah, it was like simplified, no parts. Yeah. Isn't this cool? And I think they made a big show of it, too, when they were cracking 100 miles an hour with these things going, high-speed forward flight. But that's not what you typically do with a helicopter. Yeah. And if you have to compromise so many other things to be able to reach those insane forward speeds, no thanks. But And one last shameless plug, or shameful plug. It can be shameful, you know. We have no problem being shameful, do we, Rob? Shameful is actually preferred. You're involved with rotor blades.
Yeah.
You've got your own brand coming out.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually last summer at IRCHA, I released the first information and the first batch of Helix rotor blades. And it's a completely, I would say, new design that we've never seen in models. But in real life helicopters,
full scale.
Yeah,
that's it.
I got the idea from Eurocopter.
Okay.
And basically, the leading edge of the blade is swept forward and then swept back to neutral. And basically what that does is it gives you a ton of different CG options. So we can actually make the blades as stable as like an FAI blade, but as fast as the most aggressive 3D blade.
Ah, okay.
And we're actually not using any gel coat or any paint on the blades.
Really?
So it gives us a lot of different CG options there, because that's just extra weight.
Sure, I would say they're probably pretty light then by comparison, aren't they?
Yep. And the blades are very different than most on the market, so it's been a fun project.
What range are you offering the blades in? What sizes?
Currently, right now, we're available at 715 and 695 and 115 tail blades. And I'm working on 550s, 425s, 625s, and 105 and 95 tail blades.
Are you going to mess around with the 800 plus millimeter for the big ones?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of carbon.
Oh, yeah.
Blade.
A lot of weight, a lot of carbon, a lot of mass.
Yep, and they're actually made in the USA, the blades are. We actually get all of our carbon from the US as well.
Really?
And believe it or not, there is a carbon shortage, so.
Is your resin coming from offshore though? Stickers, labels for the boxes, anything?
Not that I know of,
Oh,
no. It's
man,
all pretty much,
tell you, this is like,
we get it in the US.
This is like, this is like Midwest mashed potatoes and corn and all that good stuff.
Yep, we get it from the US. I don't know if they get it from somewhere else.
You can't take responsibility if it came out of the boat.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
As long as it has U.S. from the supplier, it's all that matters.
Yep.
Oh, that's really cool. Where are they actually manufactured at, if we can ask?
They're made in Nixon, Missouri.
Nixon, Missouri.
The old V-Blades factory in Vic has come
cool.
back making blades, and we decided to work together and instead come out with a Helix line of blades distributed by Nick Maxwell Products, which is my company.
Go out to the web and you can find out more information on the entire Thunder Tiger product line. And then for your blades, your Helix blades, what's the website for that?
I actually don't have a website yet.
Oh, I see it. End the interview.
But
he's not a real company. He doesn't interview.
Yeah, exactly.
How do people find that information right now for Helix?
You can get them from Heli Direct, or Experience RC, and a couple dealers internationally.
All right.
And then also I promote stuff on my own Facebook page. I post information about new versions, new blades, new stuff.
Well, Nick, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Question for you: What are your plans this summer as far as competitions go? You going to hit it hard, or you going to kind of pull back a little bit with all the stuff you got going on?
I'm going to hit it really hard. Last year I actually didn't do any 3D because of the F3C World Championships.
Yep.
So this year I'm going to hit 3D hard.
Okay.
Going to do Zone, the XFC, the Heli Masters, and then depending on your finish there, if you qualify for IRCHA 1.
Yep.
And then probably China 3DX. So.
China 3DX.
Yep.
Okay. So you got the international venues in there as well.
Yep. I'm really looking forward. Our weather hasn't been real great, but
no.
I look forward to getting out and practicing.
It's been a bad practice season, hasn't it?
Yeah.
My gosh, horrible. Well, thanks for the time, and good luck with the blades, and good luck with the competition this year.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back there rooting for you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.